Oh, welcome one. Welcome all to the SnailTrail4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how great Moab is in Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler, and joining me for another episode, number 520, is Mr. Jimmy Jet. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Doing pretty well.
Good.
Yeah.
Happy to hear that.
I'm getting to the tired state of the day.
Yes.
Had a late night last night.
Yeah.
So, kiddo is starting teething, I think. So he drools all over the place.
Lovely.
And he's getting to the point now where he used to just kind of like let it drool all over the place. And you just get drool on everything. Everything is soaked.
Okay.
Constantly. But now he's getting to the point where he's swallowing his drool.
Good.
But he hasn't figured out how to do that while he's sleeping yet.
Oh.
And so every 10, 15 minutes, he wakes up having a coughing fit because he hasn't figured out, you know, which throat pipe is your wind air pipe and which one's the
Sure.
food pipe or saliva pipe, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I think it was Robin Williams. I forgot who said it, but somebody said,
if it was Robin Williams, I'm sure it's a great
I think it was Robin Williams. I forgot who it was,
Mhm.
but he said, saliva will kill you, but
Yeah.
only when swallowed in very small doses over an extended period of time.
What? Huh?
Prove him wrong.
Okay. All right.
I think it was Robin Williams that said that. I always thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure. Whatever.
All right.
Moving on.
Sure, Robin. I miss Robin Williams.
Me too. Man. His live on Broadway
Mm-hmm.
was by far one of the best stand-up skits ever.
I think one of the best things he had ever done was
Mrs. Doubtfire.
I mean that too, but his improv.
It's not.
His improv on Whose Line Is It Anyways?
Oh, yeah.
He did a couple shows with Whose Line Is It Anyways?
He
Oh, my
had
God.
the guys,
Yes.
the professional improv people just dying.
Yes. I laughed the entire episode all the way through the whole time.
So good.
I think those ones and the ones with who's the gay workout dude, Richard Simmons.
Uh-huh.
Those ones, Robin Williams and Richard Simmons on Whose Line Is It Anyways?
Okay. I
Top
haven't seen
ones ever.
any other Richard Simmons
Oh my
ones.
God, they're hilarious.
But yeah, Robin Williams, if you're too young to know who Robin Williams is, check it out.
Yeah.
He was hilarious.
Yep. All right. So Monday episode here.
Yeah.
SnailTrail4x4 podcast. We're not on the other podcast.
Not on the Comedy Central podcast.
Yeah, not today. But we have some stuff that we were going to talk about last Monday.
Yeah.
But I kind of got sidetracked with the whole, the cool stuff that Blue Ribbon Coalition was doing.
Hey, it was worth it.
I hope so. I thought there was some pretty cool stuff and some really big wins in the off-road industry and kind of showing, I think, just the tip of the iceberg of what we are capable of in the off-road industry of accomplishing. So if you guys didn't listen to that episode, go back, listen to episode 518, I believe it would be.
Correct.
Pretty cool stuff that Blue Ribbon's doing. This episode, which was supposed to be last week, we're going to continue on with our kind of trail highlights stuff. So we'll get into that in a little bit. First, we have a little bit of housekeeping stuff to do. Not a whole lot, not like last month. We have a few giveaways going on still.
Never ends here.
Never ends. We have...
What does our sister podcast say? We give till it hurts.
Give till it hurts. Yep.
What are they giving away right now?
Stickers?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Maybe stickers.
Stickers if you leave, only if you leave a 5-star review though.
Maybe that's why I didn't get a sticker.
Yeah. If you leave a 4 and under, it doesn't count.
Got it. So that's probably why I didn't get a sticker then.
Yeah. I've been thinking about leaving them a review.
You have left. You were the first review.
I am actually, but I want to leave them another one.
Oh, okay.
I need to figure out how to do it. I need to figure out how to cheat the system, right?
Yeah.
Like ours.
Yeah. And so you could use your girlfriend's iTunes account.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I could. That might work.
Yeah. Just make sure you stay with her. That way, when they send you your sticker, you can collect your sticker.
Yeah.
So
just send it to the assistant at SnailTrail4x4.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got some giveaway stuff going on. The first one is our monthly giveaway with Ultimate 9 and MORRFlate. So it's this guy right here in my hand. This is actually the one that fits your Tacoma.
I know.
Just randomly.
This one, nobody's going to win.
Yeah, Jimmy's stealing that one.
I'll take it.
It's small enough you could put it in your pants.
That's not saying a lot.
I know.
Oh, is it?
Are you saying that there's a lot of extra room in your pants?
Yes.
So you wear big pants and not a whole lot to fill it?
Pretty much.
Nice. Me too.
Yeah. Jankos are coming back in style.
What are Jankos?
You too young for those?
Too young for Jankos, apparently.
Oh, man. Jankos are the huge baggy pants.
Oh, no.
Like the ginormous baggy pants.
Like bell bottoms?
No, like bell bottoms, but the width of the bell bottom all the way up.
Oh, man.
Humongous baggy pants.
No, please. Don't do those.
I'm not a fashion style person.
I think you're very fashionable, Jimmy.
Yeah, my snail trail shirt. Yeah, right. Maybe I'm slightly fashionable because I noticed that Jankos are coming back, but that's because I have a 10-year-old that wants them.
Oh.
She wants to be a fashion designer when she grows up.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't even care about fashion. Like, I don't know. Like, you're so behind fashion right now.
Yeah.
Like, get over yourself. Go be a Disney princess, whatever.
Yeah, be a Disney princess. That sounds like a fun career. I could go for a while.
That. Yeah. Anyways,
what were we talking about?
Giveaways.
Oh, giveaways. Ultimate 9. So we have this EVCX throttle controller. You if you have a Tacoma, you might win this one. But we have all sorts of models for pretty much any vehicle out there that is drive-by-wire. So you need to have electronic throttle where your computer controls your electronic throttle for you. And fun fact about that, you would think when car manufacturers set up electronic throttles, that if you push 50% down on your throttle, you would get 50% power to your engine or your engine. Yeah. Say that correct?
Yeah, sure. I'll go with it.
Yeah.
When you've pushed down 50%, you should get 50% power.
Yes. That's not how it works.
No,
you push down 50%, you get like 10% power.
Yeah, maybe a little more.
Maybe 25. A little more, whatever it is. But essentially, the auto manufacturers dumb down your throttle pedal to help with EPA regulations and gas mileage and EPA regulations. So in order to help get that response back, like a wire throttle cable would be to a throttle body, you use throttle controllers and you can control that reactiveness of how much you push down your pedal to how much power you get out of your engine.
Absolutely. But that's not the benefit. It is a good benefit.
It's a good benefit.
But the benefit to off-roading is the fact that you can actually, because your gas pedal is electronically controlled with this device, you can dumb down your pedal
even more
than that. So you have finite control while you're off-roading.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's impressive. You see people, especially with automatic transmissions, it seems, go out, some manuals too, if they're dropping the clutch, but they go out and they just spin their tires, right? And a lot of times tire spinning, with the exception of a lot of East Coast trails,
sure, right,
West Coast trails, tire spinning does not really help you a whole lot. You really need to get traction, and you need to be able to control your throttle input very acutely. And so this actually does a really good job at doing that. So I've been impressed with them so far. That we have them in a couple of the MORRFlate vehicles, and watching them play with the throttle controller on the same obstacle is actually fairly impressive as to what it does. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. If you're on the East Coast, you can just flip it over. And then all the down buttons become up buttons for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's funny. So yeah, really cool. I think the major thing I like about Ultimate 9 is the packaging of it.
Yeah. It's tiny.
It's tiny. It's really sleek. It's not going to get in your way on a dashboard. You don't have to pair it with any other devices in order to make it work. And it's also Bluetooth controlled. So, if you want to just hide that in your glove box and run it all from the Bluetooth on your phone or something, mobile device, tablet, whatever it is, you can do that too. So, I really like the stuff and the way Ultimate 9 is approaching throttle controllers. They just don't have representation really in the United States. So we're trying to change that and get the word out about this really neat product that we kind of stumbled across. So
absolutely cool.
That's this month's giveaway. July is the throttle controller. Let's see. We also have the stuff going on with Walter National. That's going on through November, and that is go down to your welding supply store, buy some Walter, Drillco, or Triumph welding consumable stuff. And inside will be instructions on how to enter to get a 2-year lease on a 2024 F-150 trimmer. They're also doing monthly giveaways each month. So the sooner you get in, the higher your chances are of winning some of those monthly giveaway things. And then in conjunction with that, we are doing a SnailTrail4x4 Walter giveaway through the end of August. So pretty much take exactly what you send into Walter and also send it to us. And you get entries for a giveaway at the end of August. So there's that going on, the monthly Ultimate 9, and then reviews. Yeah.
Yeah. If you leave us a review on Apple iTunes or Apple Podcast, then you will get entered to win a set of Yokohama tires. Pretty much any tire of your choice. It has to be less than 20 inches rim and DOT approved. And we're doing that drawing once we hit 750 reviews.
Mm-hmm.
We're currently at 650 something.
Yep.
But once we get to 700, we're going to give away a swag pack. So we're kind of giving you a little incentive to get in early.
Mm-hmm.
And once we get up to 700 and you put all those reviews in, we're going to give away a elite membership to Onyx Off-Road, plus a swag pack from SnailTrail4x4 and probably some goodies from MORRFlate as well.
Yeah.
So go leave your reviews, get in for that, and then hopefully you can win the bonus item too.
Sweet. I like it a lot. I think that's all the giveaways we have going on for July.
Oh, I thought you were going to give the Forerunner away.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm debating it right now. I'm going to keep the axles.
Sure.
And the welder. And the dual transfer cases.
Right.
And the suspension.
Right.
But you can have everything else.
Okay. Because you want to drive by wire so then you can put in one of these Ultimate 9s, huh?
Yeah. I think it might be easier just to put an LT9 in or an LQ9 in.
Yep. Maybe.
That would be fun.
You can smog it.
I don't think you could.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That or you get an LLC in Montana.
Yeah. I've thought about doing that. So we'll see.
That or we all just go in and buy a cabin out in like middle of nowhere, California, where there's no smog laws.
Yeah. What was that? Clear Lake, Stanislaus up in that area. So up Highway 4.
I think
some good spots.
Just up in Yuba City.
Yuba City, that close?
I think so.
There?
Who wants a cabin in Yuba City?
No, there's no reason to be in Yuba City.
Stuart. Yeah, and then out by Yosemite. I don't think they have the...
That would be fun out there.
Not Tahoma. Tenaya.
Tenaya? We can go to and get a place in Alpine County.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's the least populated county in California.
Yeah. We should get it at the top of a hill so you can put a radio antenna.
Up near Leviathan Peak?
Exactly.
There's already a bunch of radio equipment up there.
Yeah.
Monitor Pass has some pretty cool stuff in it, though.
Yeah, that's pretty neat, too. Cool.
Yeah, fun stuff. I don't know. Is there anything else?
No, I think we're rambling.
All right, let's go talk about Moab, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, we'll be right back. Grab your favorite drinks.
The 4-Wheel Underground website just got an upgrade. Come on by and check out the new functionality, new photos, and new pricing. Finally works on mobile too. Visit 4wheelunderground.com and find your new suspension today.
Welcome back, everybody. We are talking today about some highlights of Red Rock.
Red Rock.
Like
Isn't that out by Mojave?
Mojave.
Yep. Out by the Mojave. There's the Red Rock Desert.
Oh, Red Rock Canyon. Yeah. Yep. It's slightly different.
Okay.
Red Rock Canyon is a lot more jagged stuff. Whereas the Red Rock we're going to be talking about today is more sandstony, smoothie kind of stuff. Kind of like sandpaper.
Right.
Nice fine grit sandpaper. But yeah, we're talking about Moab today.
Yeah.
We're not experts on Moab by any means, but we've been there a few times.
Yeah. I'm up to like 4, I think.
You're 4. I think I'm at 3. So I think that makes sense.
Maybe then 5.
Yeah. I think you've been there twice before me. Once before me, twice.
Well, at least once.
Yeah.
And then you didn't go this year. So I have that one. I have brackets on either end of however many times you've been.
There we go. Perfect. Parentheses.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, whatever it's been. But we've been out there a few times now, and there's some highlights and reasons why we love going back to Moab. And there's a couple reasons why we don't like going to Moab. Maybe
Lee
is one of them.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of go over those as kind of I don't want to say finishing, because we're going to do more, a continuation.
Yes.
Of our trail highlights series that we've been doing. So, so far we've talked about Rubicon Trail.
Yes.
Fordyce.
Yes.
Barrett Lake.
Yes.
Let's see. We've talked about Hellhole.
Yes.
We've talked about Deer Valley.
Yes.
Slick Rock.
Yes.
Strawberry Pass.
Yes.
Did we do Poker Flats? Gold
yes.
Lake? Gold
yes.
Lake, Snake Lake?
Yes.
Oh man, what else have we done? Did we do any others?
I don't remember.
I don't think we've done Shaver Lake.
We haven't done any
yet.
in the Shaver Lake.
Okay.
We did Niagara Rim.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of Northern California trails. This is sort of the first time that we're jumping out of California to talk about some trails.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, this is sort of the extent of my trails that I've been on. Because I haven't been on many. I've been on one down in the Shaver Lakes area.
Okay.
And I haven't done many in Southern California.
Yeah.
So that's really, this is sort of the end of my knowledge.
Okay.
After this episode, I'm gone. Thanks. It was
Yeah,
nice talking to you guys. I'm out of here.
We're out. So yeah, we got Moab here. And so I think one of the first obvious cool things about Moab is just the topography.
Oh, 100%.
The topography and the terrain of what you get to see while you're out there. It's pretty incredible to see what big rivers do to sandstone.
Yeah. Over time.
Yeah. Over a lot of time. So yeah, I would say that's kind of the first big highlight. It seems like you get that with pretty much any trail you go to.
You get that driving in to Moab area.
Yeah.
On the highway.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
As you're driving
following the canyon.
You're following the canyon right as you're driving down the highway. I can't recall what highway it is off the top of my head, but you start dropping in and you pass Arches National Park.
Mm-hmm.
Right there, you're like in this canyon, cliffs straight up, different colors of sediment throughout the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Just red rock, black, white, different colors going all the way up.
Yep.
You can see the different sedimentary lines,
the layers
of land throughout the time. And I think that's like the very first instant that it hits you, like, this is awesome. Like, I'm in an area that I've never really been to before.
Yeah.
Like a different kind of world.
Yeah. It definitely does feel like a different world. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the very first time. Then once you get into town, that's why I sort of wanted to start with like the hierarchy side of things. Like, right, you get into town and you're surrounded by this beautiful viewed area. You look out towards the Lions Back area, that region. I forgot what the park is at the top of the hill that has Hellhole and fins and things. And
yeah, it's not Arches.
No.
Oh my God, it's going to bug me now. There's 3 different national parks within an hour drive of town.
Okay.
I think something like that.
Yeah.
And so I forget which park that is. It's not Arches.
Yeah. We can
I have
pull
to look
it
at
up.
a map.
Yeah. But you look out in one direction, you look south and you see one park and a beautiful size view, and you look north and you just see these cliffs, and it's just a different complete view. I think you look west primarily, and it continues down the canyon, down the highway. In the background, you have the big mountain range, and whenever we're there, it still has snow on the top of the mountains.
Yep.
So it's a gorgeous view. And pretty much everywhere you look, you're just like, wow, this is cool.
It's pretty cool. It's definitely reminiscent of old Western movies. You kind of get that feel of you're out in the Old West kind of thing, because that's where they filmed a lot of it, was in the Colorado and Utah areas. Not Colorado. It's like Utah mainly areas. So it's a really neat, very unique landscape that you don't see anywhere else in the country.
Mm-hmm.
You see pine trees in a lot of different places in the country.
Right.
You see blue granite in a lot of different places in the country. They're not exclusive to the Northern California Sierra Nevadas, but I don't know if there's many other places in the country that you see these 1,000-foot, 2,000-foot deep sheer cliff canyons.
Yeah.
With these really cool layering effect of the sediment layers throughout time on these plateaus. It's really interesting.
I'm sure there's definitely more out there, and I don't know much. I think there would be a lot down in like Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, maybe Southern Nevada kind of area. I mean, Sand Hollow kind of has that feel, but it's not the cliffs, right? It's not the edge. You can drive up to this edge and look out thousands of feet, down. I'm thinking of like top of the mountain or top of the world, right?
Yeah, like or the lookout on Hell's, not Hell's Revenge, Metal Masher.
Oh yeah, that one too.
Lookout on Metal Masher. Like you drive up to this edge, and if you drive 5 more feet, it's a 2,000-foot drop.
Yeah, same with like up on top of like Poison Spider. There's a good lookout there as well. So there's it is a unique driving area. It's a very unique area in general. I mean, Arches National Park, which is just, I'm going to guess east of it you pass it on your way into Moab, typically, depending on which way you go, of course. But Arches is like one of the places in the world where there's the most amount of arches condensed inside of an area. Yeah. And you can drive around that and see all these like natural bridges, right? That are made just from soft stone eroding and the harder stone staying in place and creating these crazy arches. Yeah. So it's definitely a very unique place. Another thing that's really cool about Moab, and I can't say that it's the same for like a lot of off-roading community areas, is that almost every trail is based out of the city of Moab. So you can make Moab sort of like the city of Moab a home base. And every day you just wake up and go drive a different trail. Yeah. And then you come back to Moab and you can have your day-to-day life. Yeah. Where like out here, we'd go drive the Rubicon. It's not a fun day to go drive the Rubicon and make it back to Sacramento the same day. That's killer, and it ruins some of the enjoyment out of the trail. But these trails are almost designed to be one-day trips. Like you're not spending multiple days out there. You definitely could. You could, but they're not really around that. They're a few hours, for a trail, and then you're back in town. I do really like that aspect. The only other place I've kind of had that feel before was out Sand Hollow, but it's even then it's. Sand Hollow is so much more dense of trails. Like you're there in the campground at the lake, right? Yeah. And you go under the bridge out to the wheeling area. And all the trails are within, I don't know how many acres of each other, relatively close together. Yeah. Whereas Moab, you're going out and you can drive an hour out to this really cool canyon and another hour in the other direction and an hour south of town. Yeah. And it's spread out, but they're all based out of town, out of the town.
Very drivable to use the town as your base camp, your hub.
Absolutely.
For however long you want to be there, really.
Yeah. And I think that's a really unique thing about Moab. Yeah. I mean, I can't necessarily say that's the way that there's anything else out there or not that's like that. But at least here in California, there's not anything really like that. It's like you're going to drive to a trail and then you're going to drive the trail and then you got to figure out how to get back. It's like multiple nights for the most part. I don't know if Big Bear is kind of that way. I'm not sure. It seems like it would be kind of based out of the town, but the town is so small.
It's a very small town and there's not, I mean, in comparison to Moab, there's not a whole lot of wheeling in Big Bear.
Sure.
There's a couple of good trails, and there's a handful of good Forest Service roads that kind of go all over the Big Bear area. And Big Bear is unique in and of itself because it's in the middle of the San Bernardino Valley that just all of a sudden shoots up out of the valley. And you're like, what the hell? This is a plateau in the middle of San Bernardino Valley. But it's not even Big Bear. You can only really be there for 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
do a majority of the trails there.
Yeah.
Whereas Moab, you're there 2 to 3 days. You've only done 5% of the area of what's
you've
out
only
there.
done 2 or 3 of trails out
Yeah.
of the 50 that are out there,
Mhm.
maybe. Plus, the town of Moab has everything. I mean, it has like 5 auto part stores.
Yeah.
You know, it's got every single gas station that you can think of. It's got all kinds of hotels. It's got movie theater. It's got grocery stores. It's got coffee shops. It's got the knick-knacky places. It's got everything
Mm-hmm.
for the most part.
Mhm.
They don't have a lot of Toyota stuff,
No,
which I've
not a ton.
found.
A lot
throughout
of
my
Jeep
trip.
stuff.
A lot of Jeep stuff.
Well, that's just because Toyotas never break out there. It's always the Jeeps that are breaking.
Yeah, that could
so
be true.
yeah.
That might be the reason for
Yeah.
sure. But it's a really fun hub of a spot that has tons of trails around it.
Mm-hmm.
And the trails are pretty much choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
To some extent, where there's fire roads to some extreme wheeling.
Yeah, definitely. I have a while ago, I downloaded a bunch of trails and tracks onto my Onyx, and I think it downloaded something like 400
Whoa.
trails,
Dang.
250. It was a lot. It was way more than I was thinking it was. And all the big ones were there, but there was a ton of little just go out and drive your Subaru
Mm-hmm.
around through some dirt kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those out there. So, but it's a great area. I almost went into the stuff that I don't like, and I'm trying to hold off for later because there's some other things I do like about Moab.
Yeah.
I think a very unique thing about Moab that you don't get in a lot of other places is just how a vehicle behaves on the rocks.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
just that traction, that velvety sandpaper, the fine grit sandpaper that really grabs onto your tires. You can just defy physics almost with vehicles.
You kind of can. Yeah.
Yeah. And you get that a little bit in Sand Hollow, but
I'm sure you get it.
I would argue that Sand Hollow is a very different terrain because it's a lot of V notches.
Yeah.
So you're not getting a ton of like wall climbs like you do in Moab, ledge climbs, stuff like that. Like you get some ledges here in California with the blue granite, and you're like, you just kind of lose, you don't have enough traction. You really got to work at it. Whereas like Moab, you can just walk right up them.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
There's things that I've done in Moab that I wouldn't be able to do almost anywhere else because of the type of material that you're climbing out there.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would say that's like a lot of what we're talking about could be also taken for how Sand Hollow acts.
Mhm.
But I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head there with the main difference that I've never been to Sand Hollow, but everything I've ever seen about Sand Hollow is you're climbing cracks and crevices
Mhm.
and V notches
Mhm.
like up a mountain,
Yeah.
where Moab is more ledges. You're just climbing straight up. To me, Moab is a lot of just wall climbs.
Yeah.
It's not a rocky obstacles.
No,
There's not really like,
you don't need a ton of articulation or ground clearance.
you don't.
Yeah.
It's almost beneficial to have a lower vehicle,
Uh-huh.
less ground clearance, better center of gravity.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do, because there is, and I think you'll go into this, there is a lot of off camber situations.
A lot of off camber. I still like when we went, there's 2 spots. One, when we were doing Moab Rim and we hit, what is that? The Z turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We were coming up the Z turn and I felt okay, but there was, the spot where you come up the first ledge, you have to turn to go up the second ledge. That spot where you turn gets a little off camber right there. There's a couple little holes.
Yeah.
And it did not feel good in the 4Runner on the Toyota axles. But we saw a couple Jeep 4-door JKs on like 35s, almost stock, just come right up it and walk right up while we were there. And I was like, okay. And then we saw the stock, was it the Tacoma?
Yeah.
Second gen, like almost 2-wheel drive, it looked like, but it was 4. Just go and walk up the elevator.
The escalator.
Yeah. When we were there, we're like, what?
Yeah.
This guy's going to try the escalator. What is going on? He just walked right up it.
Yep.
So there's a lot to be said about having just a low center of gravity, low suspensions, and just good traction tires and knowing where to put them.
Yeah. It's a different game out there, right? You need ground clearance in the Sierra Nevadas. You need articulation to drive over some small Volkswagen bugs or rocks or boulders. In Moab, that isn't the game.
No.
The game is, there's some articulation required, but it's definitely low center of gravity and good grip.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Yeah. So it's fun. And I think that Moab is unique for that as well. Whereas Sand Hollow, I think you need low center of gravity, good grip, and good articulation because you're doing these notches and cracks all the time. Whereas I don't think you really need a lot of articulation in Moab to be successful.
Yeah. I know that I had a pretty small conversation with Hustle Nuts about why he was going away from Toyota axles minus the strength factor. But he wanted wider axles so he could do more difficult obstacles in Sand Hollow because the narrow axles were not putting him in the correct spots for climbing some of the obstacles. He was farther down in the crack because he was narrow. And I'm coming to my off-road knowledge that it just seems like wider is better almost in any circumstance.
Seems to be just about most circumstances. Yeah.
So, and it definitely helps in Moab. That's for sure.
Yeah. So the parts that, was there anything else you really like about Moab? I like that burrito place is open till like 3 a.m. That's nice.
That's fantastic. Yeah. No, I mean, did we want to hit trails specifically, or do we want to kind of do a hierarchy negative?
I would say hierarchy negative. Yeah. Okay. Because I don't know. I don't think there's any bad trails.
No.
In Moab, everything is good. Everything has its positives to it. I don't think there's really any trails that have a big negative to them.
No, I mean, normally we kind of do trail reviews in a way.
Gotcha.
On these episodes, these segments, and we're just sort of talking about generically the entire area at this point in time.
That's true.
So I didn't know if we wanted to talk about Hell's Revenge or Metal Masher or Pritchett or
we can
Poison Spider or Golden Spike or Behind the Rocks.
Yeah, I think I think we can give a couple highlights for each trail for sure. That way, because I mean, there are a ton of trails out there, and it's like, how do you decide which ones you want to do? Because typically you're only there for 3 to 7 days max. So like there's way more to do than just 7 days worth. So I don't think we've done a ton of the trails out there, but we've done enough where
we've done a lot.
Yeah,
we've done a lot. This year when I was signing up for Cruise Moab, I was signing up with Delta Dave, Morgan, and Lee. I think that was pretty much our group. And we made a spreadsheet. I think Lee made a spreadsheet of all the trails that were being offered. And then we had our names across the top. It was our names on the x-axis, the trails on the y-axis. And then we went down the list and we put X's on the ones that we've done.
Okay.
I did a lot.
Have you really?
Yeah, I've done quite a few.
Okay.
And I've done quite a few of the 6 and higher level ones.
Okay.
Or whatever, whoever rated them.
That makes sense. Yeah.
The ones that are like 2s, 3s, I haven't done any of those.
Okay.
And so there was like, but none of us really have for the most part. And they weren't looking to do the lower ones, but it was kind of funny because they were like, oh, let's do Cane Creek. None of us had done Cane Creek. I'm like, oh, I missed that one. Sorry. Put an X on it. Like I've done that one too.
Yeah.
So, I've done a lot of some of the majority of the most difficult trails out there. So the lot of the like 5 and belows levels. No, I haven't done those.
Yeah.
But you've done some of them.
I did a couple this last year in the Bronco, or last time I was out there in the Bronco 2 years ago. And they were cool. There's a couple of really neat lookouts, and there's a really fun historical factor,
right,
to a lot of the lower rated trails. Like the bigger rated trails, they're just the fun. You get to do some really interesting things with your vehicle. The lower rated ones have a historical value to them.
Sure,
so you get to learn a little bit more of the history of the area and why that's a trail to begin with, right? So what is the value of that trail being there for people to enjoy?
Yeah.
And so I did. I was, I want to say around the world. It's not around the world. The Dome.
Okay.
I think the Dome Plateau, I think it is.
Dome Plateau.
Dome Plateau. That one's a pretty cool one. It just takes out this really neat lookout over one of the rivers. And what's really cool about it is the river kind of snakes back and forth.
Okay.
And it gets so close to each other that there's a canyon knife edge between the two where the river is snaking next to each other. That's maybe barely wide enough for a vehicle to go on. They don't let vehicles out there. It's hiking only. But we saw people hike along the knife edge while we were up on top of Dome Plateau looking down at it.
Cool.
And it's just this really cool topographic feature.
Yeah.
Of watching this river snake back and forth through the land. So that's really neat from Dome Plateau. And then the other one, the lower one I did was Dead Horse. What is it? Dead Horse something. But it was essentially an old Western watering hole for people to bring their horses' springs, Dead Horse Springs, to come and then take a bath.
Okay.
And their journey, or stop and let their horses have some water while they take a nap or a rest or something. So that was really neat. And just seeing how the canyon was laid out to create the spring, and they're unsure of if they're really unsure if it's a spring coming up from the ground or if it's the way the water comes down from the canyon. They think it's both.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Right in that corner there, where the spring is per se. And so there was a couple other really neat historical stories from Dead Horse Springs, which is a fun trail to go down. So those are the lower ones I did. Some of the highlights from them. I think Dome Plateau. Don't quote me on this. Either the Dome Plateau or another one nearby, where I think it got shut down, like the plateau area where you'd stop and have lunch and overlook that knife edge I was looking at. I'm pretty sure that that stop resting place is closed right now.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
From the Gemini Bridges Labyrinth Rim closures.
Yeah.
Which is too bad because one of the big arguments for that closure was that the rafters didn't like all the noise that the off-roaders were creating up on the canyon walls.
Mm. Yeah. Okay.
And I'm like,
how often are there?
Yeah.
Who's out there more? You guys or us?
Yeah. So
interesting
I
argument.
think that was one of the spots that was closed due to that reason.
Bummer.
But yeah, so that some of the highlights from the little easier trails.
Yeah. I would say that there's like kind of the next level up from that would be Fins and Things, which is a super fun, fairly basic trail. You know, probably like Bobcat probably wouldn't even need to go into 4-wheel drive.
Oh, okay.
But you're still climbing. It was really my first introduction. And I think it's a fantastic first introduction to Moab trail because there are some ledges to go up and climb some descents and not really any rock crawling, and some sand that you drive through. And that was it. I mean, that it's super fun. It's a little bit of a lengthy trail. There's like a front half and back half. And I think we only did the front half.
Okay.
But it's fun. It's like I said, it's a fantastic intro to Moab. And I think that the people that took me on that the first time, I think they knew that as well. And it really made me comfortable with what Moab had to offer after doing that trail.
So does that have like a little bit of everything?
Kind of, yeah.
Some off-camber stuff, some ledge stuff, some descending stuff.
Some climbs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great option. You could probably do it in a stock vehicle that has some armor.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't do it in a Subaru. I'm thinking of one instance where it's sort of an off-camber, ever so slightly rocky turn.
Okay.
And that's the biggest issue I think I would have. You do need one thing about Moab, you need good approach and departure angles.
Yes, you do.
So you do need that on that trail.
Okay.
Probably next up from that would be sort of a Hell's Revenge trail. That trail is not difficult.
It's not.
Unless you do the gate or the escalator.
Or the escalator or the hot tubs.
Yes.
Yeah, if you do all the big obstacles on that trail, then yeah, it can be a difficult trail. But yeah, the trail itself is not big and it's a really cool trail.
Yeah, you get some good vistas. There's some fun little obstacles. It has, once again, it kind of has a little of everything, some off camber, some like knife edge mounds that you're kind of climbing up and over. Like you're on the edge. You look one way and it's just a small drop that way, and you look this way and it's a big drop that way, and you're still on the edge of it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just, even the entrance, the very beginning of that trail, right where you're just climbing over this little ridge. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a good trail. Hell's Gate is difficult, as Tyler knows.
Nah, piece of cake.
Piece of cake.
Just don't roll. If you don't roll, it's easy.
I did it twice the very first time I was there. And the first time I had somebody guiding me, and the second time I did it, I just told them to yell at me if I'm doing something stupid, and I drove up it. And so I think it was just tires and rainy, and that's what really gave you a lot of problems.
Yeah.
When you did yours. Right now, I think with your setup as is, I think you could walk up Hell's Gate.
I agree. I think having a wider axles
and more
stance.
articulation.
Yeah.
I think you'd be totally fine.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a fun obstacle. The hot tubs are difficult just because you need some horsepower to get up and out of them. And then the escalator I've never done, but it seems, I mean, I saw a fairly stock first gen Toyota pickup or Toyota Tacoma go up it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it can't be that hard, right?
Right. Famous last words.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. Hell's Gate. That's or Hell's Revenge, a fun trail. I enjoyed the vistas on that trail.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed, so we ran it. I don't even know which direction we ran it. I'm terrible with directions, right?
Normal way that you should run it.
Okay. So at the end, you're descending a couple of descents where you can't see where the descent goes.
Yes.
All you do is line up to spray paint on the rocks and just make sure you're lined up to it and then just go forward.
Yep.
And it's a really nerve-wracking feeling because you just can't see. You have no clue where you're going.
Yeah.
What's happening in front of you, how steep the descent is. And going down it, you're watching vehicles go in front of you and they just drop and disappear.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what is going on? But then you go down it and then you're like, it's at such a steep angle. Am I just going to slide down this? What's going on? And it holds and it holds fine.
Put in a low gear, let the gearing do the work. Yep. You know, maybe you're on the brakes a little bit and it sticks.
Yeah. That was one of my highlights for Hell's Revenge.
Yeah, that's a good one. Also on Hell's Revenge, I don't remember if we stopped and looked at it when we did it, but I've done it before. On the way out, there are dinosaur tracks.
We did not stop and look at them.
Yeah. Okay. Which is really kind of a fun thing. There's a little plaque on that talks about it and shows the dinosaur tracks, and you can literally walk up to the dinosaur tracks and look at them in the stone, it's wild. But that's kind of a fun thing to look at. You know, it's like, there's dinosaur remains all over that area if you know where to look.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty cool what the sandstone captures over time.
Yeah.
There's the dinosaur footprints. There's some down at the entrance to the staging area as well for Metal Masher and the Gooneyberg rock.
Oh,
down there.
Okay.
There's a building down there that kind of has some tells about the historicalness of the tracks.
Well, you want to do that one next?
Metal Masher or just the Gooneyberg trails?
Yeah, in general.
Yeah, Metal Masher is fun. I don't know if I have a particular highlight for Metal Masher. It's a constant string of you got to pay attention, but also at the same time, there's stuff to look at around you. And like, I feel like on like Hell's Revenge, it's not a ton of you have to pay attention. You're looking at a lot of the views.
Yeah.
And as long as you stay within the spray paint, you're pretty much good on Hell's Revenge. Whereas Metal Masher, you have to pay a little bit more attention to tire placement as you're going and the obstacles as you go. And there's a pretty solid, consistent string of obstacles throughout Metal Masher, with a great prize, halfway through, which is the overlook that kind of overlooks the vista and back up towards town.
Yeah.
So
it looks down at the highway going into town.
Yeah. So that to me, I like Metal Masher because of that. Just a nice, consistently semi-difficult trail, but not really. It's not like Pritchett where you're stressing, or Moab Rim where you're stressing out about the obstacles, but you have to pay attention to where you're putting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a few off-camber sections, not a whole lot on that trail. There's just one in particular before the little waterfall or wedge
Yeah, the
that
wedge.
I can think of. It's like right after Rock Chucker, right? You just drive off of it and then you have to make this turn and it's just off camber.
Yeah.
That's really the worst one that I can think of that, but it's not that bad. And that's why I would say that Metal Masher is a step up from Hell's Revenge.
Yeah.
Just because you really do have to pay more attention. It seems like Hell's Revenge has an obstacle and then you drive for a little bit. Then you have an obstacle and you drive for a little bit.
Yeah.
You could say the same about Metal Masher, but the drive for a little bit is much shorter.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't know, I would almost say possibly between those or maybe after would be Top of the World. If you do, so if you do, if you go straight up, if you do the easy line, Top of the World is not as difficult as Metal Masher, in my opinion. If you do, it's sort of like a lollipop where you go up and then there's a loop. So if you do the full loop at the top, it's harder than Metal Masher.
Okay. See, I've never done the left side of the loop.
Yeah.
I think we always go up and do the right side going up and down.
And down. Yeah.
I've never done the left side of the loop yet.
Yeah. It was pretty gnarly when I did it. And I've heard, and I've always wanted to try to go up the left side of the loop because I've gone down it and it was gnarly and gravity helps.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine that it's even more difficult, right, to go up the gnarly section. So I've always wanted to kind of try that. But the Top of the World's fun. You're rewarded with this fantastic view. You can put your truck out on a ledge. You know, you get your photo taken. It looks like you're sticking way out just because the rock kind of juts out.
Yeah.
You're probably a few hundred or maybe 1,000 feet up in the air.
It's a long ways.
You're a long ways up there.
Yeah.
The trail up, if you go up the right side, isn't terribly difficult.
It's not too bad.
And one of the things I like about it is
it's more like 1 to 2 foot ledges.
Yeah.
That's really the hard part of it.
It goes from like a foot ledge to a 4 foot ledge. Yeah. And you can try the hard side. And if that doesn't work, then you back up and try somewhere in the middle. And if that doesn't work, you work your way over to the smaller side.
Yeah.
And then you get up. And so it's kind of a choose your own adventure or choose your own difficulty up that trail because you can always try the hardest one. And if it just isn't working out or you get high centered or you're going to hit your drive shaft or whatever, you just back off and try a moderately harder one.
Yeah.
So I kind of like Top of the World for that aspect because, you know, you can go up with your buddies in a Razor. You can go up with your friends in like a fairly stock vehicle. And even if you have a well-built off-road rig, it still can be a challenging trail.
You can still make it challenging if you want to, for sure. Yeah. I would argue that Top of the World is probably in my top 2 trails.
Really?
I think it's close between Top of the World and Metal Masher. I think for the playing in your vehicle aspect, I think Metal Masher is more fun for me.
Okay.
But I love just hanging out on Top of the World at the top there for 1 to 2 hours with friends.
Yeah.
It's a really cool spot. There's a couple little shady spots you can hang out under if it's a hot day. It's high enough up where at special times of the year, you might have snow on the plants around you. We did that. That was cool.
That was fun.
And it's just a really cool vista lookout, and an awesome spot to just hang out for a couple hours with buddies.
Yeah, 100%. Another thing that I like about Top of the World, which is sort of funny, is I love the drive there.
Oh, through the canyon?
Through the canyon,
Yeah, that's a cool
along
drive.
the river.
Yeah.
You're just cruising. You're taking corners. The canyon opens up. You turn another corner. The canyon shrinks. You always have the river next to you. I think that is a fun drive up is that the Colorado River?
I don't know. There's 3 different rivers that come through there. 2?
Yeah.
2 or 3.
So, yeah, but you're along the river the whole time. It's a lot of fun. I don't like the washboardy road to the trailhead.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Yeah.
That washboard road is not fun with leaf springs.
No.
That'll just, pretty brutal. But air down. I would air down just as you get off the pavement, and then you can go fairly fast on that washboard.
Yep. Yeah, that one's really cool. That is a really pretty drive through that canyon. And it's a great way to kind of wind down from the trail too after the day as you're heading back to town.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. I would probably throw King Creek in right around that area, that same level of difficulty.
Yeah, only because of one obstacle though.
Well, that's sort of,
yeah.
I mean, that's sort of like Top of the World. I mean, it's not that difficult. There's one sort of ledge that's sort of hard. All the other ledges are kind of easy.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
I would say Hamburger Hill is harder than anything on top of the world, at least on the right-hand loop, the right side of the lollipop. Yeah, Cane Creek. I like Cane Creek, not because of Hamburger Hill. I like Cane Creek because it's just a fun little drive jaunt through a wash.
Yeah.
You're going through this creek
literally
the entire time. And it's like 20, what did my dad count? 25, 26 water crossings.
Yeah.
But it's just, you're driving through this wash. You've got a lot of vegetation around you. So it's fairly shady most of the time too. Which is a big thing for me, as you know, out there.
Yep.
But that one's fun. I like that one because of you're just in this creek 70% of the time down there. So
right. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's fun. And the Hamburger Hill's a tough obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
There is a bypass, and the bypass is not that easy either.
No, you have to be very careful with tire placement on the bypass.
Yeah, you're right on the edge of a cliff. Literally, your tire is like on the edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
So it's pretty precarious, but it's a fun obstacle. And even the drive out once you pass Hamburger Hill is a lot of fun because you're also in the canyon looking down at the river. You know, there's another one or two fun obstacles after that.
Mm-hmm.
So that one's a lot of fun. Let's see. Poison Spider and the Trifecta.
Yeah, that's a good one to go.
General next level.
Yeah, I would say if we're going kind of in that same, are we trying to go down in level, I guess? Or
I was trying to ascend, but I would say Metal Master's harder than Poison Spider and Metal and the Trifecta.
Yeah, I would agree. On the Trifecta, I don't know if I would do the Trifecta again. It's just a long day.
It is a long day,
really
especially
long
when
day.
you break leaf springs.
Exactly. When you add 6.5 hours to your day, that's already a long day.
It's good to do once, though.
It is good to do once. I think everybody should experience it one time. But if I would go back and do the Trifecta again, I would do it in sections rather than doing all three at the same time.
Okay.
I did really enjoy. What was that section? I don't remember what it's called, but there was a bunch of
Poison Spider. There was Golden Spike, and then Gold
Bar Rim.
Gold Bar Rim.
I want to say it was on Golden Spike section. There was a series of like 3 or 4 just kind of rounded ledges, and then you take a left as you hit the top.
That has a name. I can't remember what it is.
I can't remember what it is.
That obstacle has a name.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was a really fun obstacle. And then the Golden Crack, I mean, it's iconic.
Yeah.
And it does some really fun things to vehicles.
It does. My vehicle was so long that I had a hard time getting it. I needed to take a way crazy angle to get in there to try and get my driver's side or rear tire and passenger side front tire to be in the crack at the same time to show the articulation. But my truck was so long that it didn't do it justice.
No.
Yeah, but that's all 3 of those are fun trails. The Poison Spider is a good one day, and it's a connection to the Trifecta. It has a few difficult climbs. That's really about it.
It does have that one play area that has I think 3 different options.
3 levels of difficulty of ledges. Yeah.
So that spot's a little fun if you wanted to stop and play there. That was a fun highlight of Poison Spider. The grave, the tomb. You can look at the tomb, the grave of what was her name? Mary?
I don't remember.
I don't remember the girl that got bit by the spider and what that got named after.
Yeah.
Man, that's funny. So there's the grave up there. You can see it right alongside the trail as you're going by. Golden Spike. Talked about that. Gold Bar Rim, really, that waterfall at Gold Bar Rim is definitely the highlight of that trail, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's probably the hardest part of that section of trail.
100%. Yeah.
There's some other ledges that are difficult, but not that bad. I mean, I pretty much drove up them in 2-wheel drive.
I had to pull you 2 of them.
Yeah. A 2-wheel drive, front wheel drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did have to get tugged a few times because I was babying the truck on the way back.
Yeah, you broke all your leaf springs. What'd you do that for?
Yeah, right. I'll find that episode and I'll put it down in the show notes so you guys can get the full story of that for sure.
I've got the leaf springs right here. Proof. They were broken under Bobcat. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. You're literally taking notes.
I am. I'm going to put
Okay.
that down there.
All right.
Let's see. I would, out of the trails I've done, the top 2 difficult trails. I'm trying to think of what other trails I've done that might fall before these, but it would go most difficult Pritchett.
Yeah.
Second most difficult Rusty Nail.
Yeah.
So, both of those Rusty Nail was fun. It had some serious climbs with some good articulation that was involved. So those were pretty cool. That one was fun. Pritchett Canyon was just, for the most part, it was just climbs. That made it really difficult.
Okay.
The Rocker Knocker is extremely crazy because you have to climb up one ledge and then you turn hard driver and you're literally trying to get your vehicle to slide along this crack.
You're just walking the ledge.
And you're walking the ledge, hoping that your rear end continues to slide, which mine didn't. Mine continued to climb. So that's why I got all off crazy center. And eventually you walk your way off driver till it semi flattens out and you get grip and you climb out of it.
Yeah.
So my truck was either too long and was getting grip when it shouldn't be getting grip.
Bobcat does that.
Yeah. Or it's just a badass rig. One or the other, the other obstacles on Pritchett were a lot of fun, and they're all climbs. They're all just different ways to climb up obstacles.
Yeah.
Rusty Nail, like going back to that one, those are climbs, but they had like ledges and articulation involved in them.
Wow.
Which made it a different type of climb entirely from Pritchett.
Okay. But do you still think Pritchett was harder?
I
difficult?
do.
Okay.
Yeah. I needed to winch once on Rusty Nail.
Okay.
And I didn't have a winch. And because of that trail, I said, okay, I finally have put Bobcat in a situation where I have to winch. I should have had a winch.
24 years?
Yeah.
Whatever.
So that was the reason, because of Rusty Nail, I put a winch on Bobcat.
Okay.
So, but all the other obstacles on that trail, I was able to drive up.
Okay.
So it's not as difficult.
Okay.
Now, we were talking to Dawn and they were saying.
How many times did you winch on Pritchett?
Twice.
Twice. Okay.
And I think if I was not in a group and I could have tried the obstacles more than like 3 and out.
Okay.
I think I could have winched less.
Okay.
Especially the very first one. I don't remember what the name of it is. Not Rocket Chucky.
Chewy?
Upchuck?
Upchuck? Okay.
Upchuck Hill? Something. It was something like that. That one, I was like the 3rd or 4th person to go out of like 10. And I just got myself halfway up the hill and was spinning because I was just trying to climb 2 ledges and I was going straight at this point. I wasn't a little turned. And I was just in a good spot to winch. Okay. And I was like, I'm in, like I'm lined up for a good winch. I'm at halfway up the hill, like just pull me the rest of the way. Okay. And so I probably could have reversed down and tried it again and, tried it a few times and got up the other ledge. The second time I winched, which was on one of the very end obstacles, I probably maybe could have made it up, but I was pushing Bobcat pretty good. And so one of the times when I got up, I was like, nah, this is good. This is the last time. I don't want to try that again. Like, I don't want to you had to hit it with speed. And I was trying to make the corner with some speed, but I would always get bucked off of the line and shoved into this like hole. And then I'd have to back down and try it all over again. Okay. And so the last time I tried, I got up and I didn't get bucked, but I didn't have I like stalled out, I think. And I was like, all right, let's just, I'm in a good line. In a good spot. Let's just pull me out the rest of the way up. And that's really what it came down to. But yeah, I think Pritchett, it was the most difficult one I've done out there. I know there's another one in there's an area just south of Moab. I would still say in the Moab region, but it's another park. Okay. And they only let a few people in at a time. and that has a more difficult rock crawling trail in it.
Oh,
So I want to try that next time. I don't know the name of it. I just sort of saw it randomly on some Instagram, and then it was like, hey, where is that? Where, I know you're in Moab right now, but so where is that?
Yeah.
You know, and so I want to check that out. One of the, like, if I go to Cruise Moab again next year, I might not do a trail one day and see if I can go and do that instead. Let's see. But what, I mean, I think that's a fairly good overview. I'm trying to think of if there's any other trails.
What was the trail that we went up to, and it had, I think it's where Rock Checker is, but it, later in the day, it had that really off camber section that a bunch of people went and did. And I was like, I'm not going that direction.
Yeah, it was Metal Masher. It was the backside of Metal Masher.
Backside of Metal Masher.
When you can go out to, I think it's called Widowmaker.
Yes.
And so there was the high line to get up to Widowmaker, or there was a low line to get up there. And the low line had a lot of rock crawling to get up, which looked fun, but we were only going to look at it. So it was going to be one of those situations like, I'm going to rock climb up this, and then I'm going to have to turn around and rock climb back down this, or I'll just walk up there and look at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the high line that they did was, had a really bad off camber.
Yeah.
This last year when we did, or was it 2 years ago when I did Metal Masher and you had the Bronco, I think?
Mm-hmm.
No, you did Metal Masher with us. We went out a different way.
That's what it was with the Bronco. Okay. Because I was like, I don't remember going by Widowmaker when we had it.
So there was, because there's a way to loop back towards Gemini Bridges. And then we went out another route, because there's just trails galore out there, right? And so we went out to another highway and connected with the highway. And then we drove the highway back to Moab, which is a different route than I've ever gone before. But that was fun. That's when Lee and I actually switched rigs for a little while. I drove the White Whale and he drove Bobcat. And it was funny because he probably drove Bobcat harder than I would have driven Bobcat, because he's used to the White Whale, and I drove the White Whale slower than he would have driven it because I'm not used to being able to go that fast. So that was kind of funny. I mean, it's a fun place. Like I can't say enough. Like, I think everybody should go to Moab to experience it. Just like the Rubicon Trail is a goal for a lot of people. I think Moab should be a goal for a lot of people. Completely different than any other wheeling here in Northern California. And so it's fun to go try something different and new.
What about negatives?
I was waiting for that. Negatives. I think that the off-camberness is a negative.
That's a big one for me.
But that is only because we've built our rigs differently. Right? It's not a negative for Moab.
No.
It's a negative for you and me.
Yes,
because we have taller rigs.
So I would, and I'd think back to Moab Rim. We didn't talk about Moab Rim.
No.
You know, almost rolling 2,000 feet off of the side of that thing down to the highway was enough where I'm like, I'm not coming back to Moab Rim with Toyota axles. Sorry.
Right. Well, that was the clincher.
Toyota, that
once you did Moab Rim, you had your mind set on getting different axles.
Yes.
Like that was the clincher.
I agree.
So, I mean, I just remember that you were just like, nope. I don't like this. We're turning around. And then like a few weeks later, you're like, okay, I'm deciding wider axles. And I'm like, all right, sounds fun. Yeah. I mean, off camber is a negative. I think there's a slight negative, which we don't really have any control. We have a little control, but not a lot of control on, is the political stuff that's going on in Moab. There seems to be a whole issue about off-roaders. Are they good or bad? There's a whole bit about any outdoor activity in Moab, whether it should be horseback riding, mountain biking, whitewater rafting, motorcycle riding, 4x4. Are they bad? I think the culture is changing. I know there's been a lot of negative press about Moab and how the people of Moab don't like tourists. But I think they're also coming to the realization that they're only there because the tourists come to visit them.
Totally. I mean, Moab was founded because it was a recreational point of interest, right? So if it wasn't for, I mean, I guess technically the town was maybe founded due to the mining there. but it's sustained because of the recreation tourism.
Currently, it's sustained because of recreation tourism, whether it's rock climbing or rock crawling.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reason that town is still around is because the mecca of outdoor activities that it has.
Yeah.
So I think if they're learning that if they push one of them out, there's a loss of income into their town, and they need to appreciate every sort of recreation that's available.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope that's the truth. And I hope that that's following through. Last time I was there, I talked with a few of the local residents, and everybody said, yeah, everything's down 40%.
Yeah.
All sales, all revenue, income was down 40% across the board. Seemed like no matter who I talked to, they said about 40%. And it seemed like they were also complaining about some of the major spots in the city council seats that were causing Moab to shut down to off-road recreation and recreation in general. And so it seemed like there was starting to be a big movement to replace those people from the city council seats and get more people that are recreation friendly out there.
Yeah.
So I haven't checked in since then. That was a year and a half ago. So I'm interested to hear and talk to somebody from Moab and see where that's coming along. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think another negative, something that we can all help is that we're losing land.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And, like these 1,300 miles that we lost in Gemini bridges.
It was up to 1,300 and we lost 452 of them, I believe.
Okay. That's what it was. Yeah. So, I mean, we're losing land. There's always the fight of land, but that's kind of everywhere. But it's, we just had a chunk of land lost out there, and that's, a negative. And there's little that we can do, but we can put our voices in, and we can, put our names on a ballot, and we can try to fight it as individuals. But if you listen to last Monday's episode, you know that it's only goes so far, and we need these bigger organizations to help us out.
Yeah. There's a great, I forget what the 3 or 4 things that Ben was saying, but when I interviewed him at Trail Hero last year, he had specifically 3 to 4 things that we as users can do that will help us stop losing land for off-road recreation, OHV recreation. So go back and listen to that episode if you guys are curious. That's how we're going to get stuff to stop. Because if we can lose 450 miles, almost 30%, a third of the trails in the Gemini Bridges Labyrinth Rims area in Moab, which is kind of seen as the off-road mecca of the United States.
Sort of, yeah.
It can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Gone. Good.
Yeah.
Here.
How's it going? I'm good. Oh, no shit. Nice, dude. How are you, man?
Good.
Good thing you came by today.
Why today?
Everyone's gone at 2 p.m. So me and him are the only ones left on Tuesdays. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm on my way to Washington.
Oh, cool.
I'm stopping at my uncle's house out here.
Oh,
I was like, you know what? Here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah. Vegas.
And so you came up and over, and then you're heading up to Washington?
Yeah, I'm going to stop here, spend the night at my uncle's house. Spend another night at my other uncle's house. Then to Washington to my daughter.
Oh, cool. Congrats.
Then after next week, Monday, spend one night there. Then last night back to home.
A lot of ground.
It is. I just did a whole lot of work to the full getting ready for this trip.
Yeah.
Pretty busy.
Nice.
Yeah. I check your place
Yeah,
out.
man. Good to meet you finally.
Yeah. Always on the phone only.
Yeah.
Are you doing like a podcast?
Yeah, we do SnailTrail4x4 out of this room here. So it's an off-roading podcast. And we talk about off-roading and different fun things outdoors. Yeah, it's fun.
Get away from me.
Exactly.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
Get off road to the most remote location you get. Further out you go, the less idiots finished a break in here last week. I can't wait. Lockers finally.
Yeah.
I've been open to it.
Your world's
Cheating now.
yeah.
Hey. Oh, cheating. All it used
Yeah.
Well, if you get old, you think you use any advantage you can.
Yeah. Use the tools that you have.
Exactly.
The new airhead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen them yet?
Not yet. Only seen what's on the internet.
They're fun. This one's his, but so it comes with its own little case there, so it stays protected, crawling around in the back of the vehicle. Okay. There.
Bigger than I expected. But I mean, technology's on the side.
That's got a couple of big high flow motherboards that run everything the brain can all. Air passive. Yeah, we're working on it. It's we'd have to redesign the back and how it connects. But that is something. Bumpers, cage tubing. So oh yeah.
The Factor 55 one.
Yeah. Soft shackle.
Yeah. That's the one. And my mind was blank. Nice.
Yeah. Really nice. It turned out really good. The algorithm and technology powering it all has been and everything else. So far, the packaging and everything seems to be going really well. We're getting a lot of really good feedback on it all. So.
Have you seen the new thing down there? Refrigerator thing just
Not from up down. Yeah.
let me show it to you.
Sounds like a Ston or Apex rapid valves. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's like a Ston. So
But relatively cheap, nicely made. I like it because, like, for me, when I go to the trail runs, everybody always wants to ask me a ton of questions. So I can just put it, walk away, and not worry about it, and I can answer everybody's questions.
yeah, same thing for the Airhead too. It's a way more accurate and precise.
Okay.
So yeah, these guys they're good. They'll get you within a couple psi, maybe 5 on a bad day. Yeah. But the bad part about those is that they tend to operate inaccurately in different settings on different elevations. Too. So yeah, the only way that we found to get around that is digital control. That way we can get accurate down to the 10th of a psi.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna order me one pretty soon for mine. I got a bunch. So this year I'm gonna be
Oh, nice.
so I'm gonna be so I'm not gonna be in their main booth. They're looking for featured parking someplace out in a main hall or something. Because they are gonna be unveiling their new big brake kit.
Okay.
They're coming out with a big brake kit that is 6-piston kit calipers that still fits the 17-inch wheel with a 0 offset.
Wow.
That's the big one. So I'm going to be getting that brake kit in probably that to start testing it and utilizing it, and then they're going to give me another set just before he put on. So it looks pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing a lot of changes to it. I'm getting it wrapped. What else I'm doing? Might be pro charging it. Pro charger.
Supercharger?
A pro charger. About 100.
Is that a tier pro or is
No.
that a pro charger?
Pro charger. Pro charger their own brand. Yeah,
Never
they're
heard of it.
no, they're big, but they're more big in the V8 world. So like you know, like you ever watch Street Outlaws? Okay. If you look at all the like the drag cars, they have the like a bit that looks like a big turbocharger.
Yeah.
That's actually a full charger, and it produces more consistent power throughout the entire RPM band. So it gets like almost so like the magazine you get. I think it was everybody's been saying that they get about 64 horsepower. This one is 140. So that's a
torque.
and it's less money than a magazine. And
California legal?
yep,
Oh, is it? Really?
Yep.
Okay.
California legal.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're giving me a sweet deal that I cannot. I'm just waiting for my wife to say yes. Go spend the money. So the kid is
You
70.
have a wife?
Yes.
No.
She's the queen of our valley when it comes to the off-road community. So
Okay.
so she's enjoying all that right now. Her big thing is she's an accountant. Discounts is her ticket.
That's how you talk to all ladies.
Yes.
Not how much you're spending, it's how much you're
Yeah. So like the kit is 7,200 and installs about $2,000 from any shop. They're gonna give it to me for 37, and then after 3,700.
Is that your dog?
Yeah. Yeah, my wife let him walk loose.
Got it. I was like, dog, walking by your dog.
3,700, and then after SEMA, once the vehicle is at SEMA, they give me $1,000.
Nice.
And then one of my buddy's shop wants to do the install on it, and he all those technicians at his shop all came from Shelby, America. So they played with superchargers their whole time. So they're experts at it. Yep. Yeah. No, the HQ is actually in Cali, but where the production and all the R&D is in Vegas. I literally live, you know. But yeah, it's Shelby America. They all work there. They're techs for that place, so they want to do the install. Road Charger might even give me more discount because right now they haven't done a 10 to 13 400 yet, and I have a 11. So they can't validate that yet until they get one installed on one. So they're talking about maybe doing like a $15 or almost $2,000 rebate. So I'm like, it's like
That's a great deal.
I told my wife, I said, even if we don't keep it, I could sell it and make money.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want to do that. No, I want it. The power is just crazy. So I'm trying to plan that out. I got that, and I'm redoing my whole suspension from Icon. They're coming out with some new stuff that I'm going to be displaying for them. And I just redid my boot. So now I did my relocation is much better than what it was before. What else I'm going to be doing? AWE might be coming out with a new exhaust for the 400. So I might be, if it's ready in time, they're going to give me one. And then Falcon wants me to run the new 8 to show it off. And Icon might have a new set of style.
Okay.
So
Nice.
maybe having that. And then I'm gonna be doing I'll let you know about it. For SEMA, I'm gonna try to do like a big giveaway. Okay. Where people follow all the different brands that support like my vehicle, and it can be thrown into a drawing at SEMA for something. So like EBC is giving me a set of brakes. Yukon is gonna give me like a $500 gift card. Rigid is gonna give me some lights to give away. ARB is gonna give me some giveaway, and Icon is gonna give me some giveaway. No Charger may just buy like a gift card or something. So
Nice.
I might do something fun like you gotta follow a bunch of these pages and post this or that at SEMA, and then get thrown into a drawing for one of the many prizes. working on something with all the companies that I'm working with. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, cool, man. We got to get back and finish recording here. So
no problem. Like I said, I just wanted to stop by.
Yeah. Hey, good meeting you, dude.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Yeah, man.
Mason. Yep. I'll see you later.
All right. Sounds good, man. Yep. Where were we?
All right. So are there any other additional negatives that you can think of? I can't necessarily think of anything besides in the off-roading scene part about Moab besides off-camber sections and our fault having too tall of vehicles.
No, I can't. Not that I can really think of off the top of my head. The food's pretty good there.
Yeah.
The Moab Brewery has some good beers. Just don't go 2 weeks after Easter Jeep Safari because they run out.
Yeah, they're all out of beers. Yeah. They have a small distillery at Moab Brewery. That's they have some okay whiskey and vodkas and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. The town is fun. The wheeling's fun. There's some great views, some fun, challenging things you can do with vehicles there. I think it's an awesome spot with not a whole lot of negatives.
Yeah.
I guess the only big negative is that it's not really close to anything, no matter which direction you come.
True.
It's a long drive to get to Moab, but if you're spending multiple days there, it's definitely well worth it.
Yeah. I agree. I was going to say that it seems like Moab's becoming a place where you need bigger than 35s and 37s to go out and play. But because there's a lot of places that there's just now these people that are running 40s and 42s, they're creating these holes that it's just becoming difficult to do some of the difficult obstacles.
Yeah.
So, but for the most part, there seems to be bypasses, or like I was sort of saying on Top of the World, you can't do the hardest line, just step down to a medium line.
I think there's a lot of options for obstacles, difficulty options.
I agree. Yeah. And I think that the large tire game is across the board. Like it's not just Moab.
Yeah.
You know, it's here in the Rubicon. It's here on Forward Ice. You know, there's these JKs that have 40s on them that just create holes, and they all have the same wheelbase, and they're all running the same similar size tires, and the holes are difficult to go in.
Yeah.
And if you get stuck in one of the holes, then you're stuck on the obstacle.
Yeah.
That's why you should have bigger tires or longer or shorter wheelbases. And that's, you know, so now you're just always doing this battle of how to get through something.
Yep. Keep your wheelbase away from 117 inches.
Yeah.
Which is a 4-door JK wheelbase.
Right. Yeah. I think I'm going to be a little shorter.
Good. Yeah.
That's the game plan, at least.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I think that's a good wrap of Moab.
I think so as well.
And kind of highlights of Moab. Hopefully you guys out there garnished something from this episode in that either inspires you to go out to Moab, or maybe you're like, man, I would love to drive through a creek in Moab. Let's go do Cane Creek next time we're there.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know.
Fun.
It's a good time. So definitely go check out Moab. Spend some money there, stop in, talk to the businesses, make sure the businesses know that you're an off-roader and you're there for the off-road recreation. If you do go to Moab, and have a great time. It's an awesome place.
I agree.
If you guys have any feedback for us, maybe you have some stories that you have from your adventures in Moab, call in, let us know about all that stuff. 916-345 SnailTrail4x4. We love hearing from you guys. We love interacting with you guys through the snail mail episodes on Fridays. You can always reach us through email, social media, texting. There's the Snail Squad group on Facebook. There's I rate 4x4, lots of different ways to get a hold of us and interact. Please do. Like I said, we love interacting with you guys. It is a lot of fun, something me and Jimmy both really enjoy. Yeah, I think that's all we got, man.
Sounds good.
Jimmy, any final words for everybody out there?
I would say if you can plan in a non-wheeling day and you like go for a hike, go whitewater rafting, I think they have like a jet boat that goes up the river, or just go hang out downtown.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun things to do that around Moab that don't have to do with 4x4.
I agree. And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I have one for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What? Is it better than mine?
We're going to cut that first one out.
Come on.
Why did the pig leave the hospital?
Why did the pig leave the hospital? The pig was in a hospital. I don't know.
Because he was cured.
Oh, okay.
No?
No.
All right. Yours was funnier.
Mine was good.